You don't need more time, you need better systems. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. You know that feeling when your calendar is packed back to back, your inbox has 4,700 emails, and yet at the end of the day, you feel like you accomplished nothing really significant. Yeah, I know that feeling too. I'm a consultant, which means my job is supposed to be about solving strategic problems and thinking creatively, but honestly, most of the time, my week was getting eaten alive by stuff that didn't move the needle that much. Meeting notes, email follow-ups, research, summaries, slide decks, etc. Hours and hours of work that felt kind of pointless. And the worst part, I knew I was capable of so much more, but I was stuck operating at like 40% of my potential just because I was buried under busy work. And then AI happened, and instead of just playing around with it like most people, I actually committed to figuring this out. And within a few weeks, I built a system that saved me more than 25 hours per week without even sacrificing quality. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what I automated, how I built it, and most importantly, how you can steal this entire system and use it for yourself. Let's get into it. So I started small. I'd throw random tasks at ChatGPT, summarizing notes, rewriting emails, or organizing my thoughts. And every single time I'd save 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes, which doesn't sound like it's much, but it adds up really fast. One night I sat down with a notebook and just brain dumped every repetitive task I could think of. Meeting minutes, research, slide creation, LinkedIn posts, follow-up emails, etc. Then I asked myself one question: what if I could automate or accelerate all of this without actually losing my personal touch? That question changed everything, because once you start thinking that way, you realize most of your time isn't actually set in stone. It's negotiable. You just need a system and better priorities. All right, so let me walk you through how I actually built this system now. I use something I call the 4R automation framework. It's super simple. 1, record. You just capture the raw information or process. Then 2, you refine it. You clean it and you structure it. 3, you repurpose it. You ask AI to transform it into something useful. And 4, you reflect, you review and improve over time. This framework is how I approach every automation I build. It keeps things organized and repeatable. Okay, if you work in corporate, you know how much time meeting minutes or meeting notes eat up. So here's what I do now. I record and transcribe every meeting in Microsoft Teams. Then I strip out anything confidential, copy the transcript, and paste it into ChatGPT with a master prompt I built specifically for meeting minutes. And boom, in like 10 seconds, I get the clean, structured notes, decisions made, action items, next steps, and everything. Before AI, that took me 30 to 45 minutes per meeting. Now it's just under 5 minutes. And that alone saved me hours every single week. And honestly, people started noticing very quickly. I became that person who always sends the notes first, which sounds small, but it builds trust over time. Now, in consulting, you are constantly reading regulations, market reports, industry studies, and extracting the key insights from a 50-page PDF. Honestly, that's sometimes painful. Now, I just upload the document into ChatGPT, tell it what I'm looking for, and let it summarize the content. Then I ask follow-up questions to go deeper or reframe the insights for different audiences, depending on if I'm talking to executives or more technical people. What used to take me 3 to 4 hours now takes maybe 40 minutes, and I actually retain more because I'm asking better questions instead of just scheming. Let me be real, I hate making slides from scratch. So I started using a tool called napkin.ai. You feed it the text and it generates clean visuals, diagrams, charts, frameworks, all of that stuff. Now, I take these visuals, recreate them in PowerPoint with my firm's branding, and boom, I've got a professional deck in a fraction of the time. This was huge for me because it freed up creative energy, and instead of just staring at a blank slide, thinking, what this look like? What should I do here? I'm just refining something that's already 80% done. For LinkedIn posts, internal articles, or thought leadership pieces, I brain dump my ideas into ChatGPT first. Then I ask it to help me structure and expand those ideas. But here's the key, I always inject my own voice first. If you just ask AI to write me a LinkedIn post about productivity, you're going to get the same generic garbage everyone else is posting. But if you give your thoughts, your ideas, your stories, and your tone, and then you let it help you refine and expand, that's when the magic happens. So after a few weeks of doing this consistently, something clicked. I was saving at least 2 to 3 hours every single day, sometimes even more, and that's basically a full workday back in my pocket every week. But here's what's even more interesting now. It didn't just make me faster, it changed how I worked. I stopped being reactive and I was not just responding to emails and putting out fires all day. I had time to actually think. I could focus on the high value stuff, the strategic stuff, the creative problem solving, the work that actually moves my career forward. So my quality went up, I made fewer mistakes, I was more responsive to clients, and because I was not constantly overwhelmed, I actually started enjoying my work more again. I even had time to hit the gym regularly, work on side projects, and just decompress. Which sounds basic, but when you've been grinding non-stop, that's everything. Now looking back, I realized AI didn't just give me more time, it helped me realign my work with my values, excellence, reliability. Alright, so if you're thinking, this sounds great, but I don't even know where to start. I get it. AI moves really fast. There are new tools and updates every single week. It's overwhelming, I know. But here's the truth. You don't need to know everything about it. You just need to start small and stay consistent. And here's my advice for you. Step 1, master the basics of prompting. Learn how to clearly explain what you want to AI. Context is everything. The better your input, the better is going to be your output. And here's a little hack. If you're not sure how to write a good prompt, just ask ChatGPT to write it for you. Seriously, it's surprisingly good at that. Now, step 2, list your time-consuming tasks. Grab a notebook or open a document and write down every repetitive task you can think of. Emails, meeting notes, research, or slide prep, all of it. Then pick 1 or 2 and you can start experimenting. Step 3, track your wins. Personally, I use Notion to document every workflow I build, what tool I use, what was the process, and how much time I saved. And it does 2 things. It keeps you organized and shows you the ROI over time. Once you start seeing real results, it becomes addictive. Step 4, now build the habit. You can't just try AI once and expect magic. You need to make it part of your daily workflow. Now, start with 1 task. Master it and then move on to the next task. Within a month, you'll have a system that actually works really well. So here's the bottom line. AI has made me a better professional. I deliver faster my work, higher quality, and I stress less. But more than anything, it's given me more space, more mental space to think, to create, and actually live my life outside of work. And that's what it's all about, really. Not just productivity hacks, but it's about designing a career and a life that works for you, not against you. Now, if you want to go deeper, I've put together a free resource that breaks down my entire 4R automation framework, the exact prompts I use for meeting notes, research, and content creation. You can grab it in the description below. It's basically everything I wish I had when I started. And if you want the full deep dive course where I walk you through building these systems step by step for your specific role, drop a comment or I'm actually working on something for you. But for now, hit that like button if this was helpful, subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.